OK，陈宇可以 start 了。
Okay, good. Please.
Bhante now already live.
Please. You can go ahead, introduce, and we'll get started.
Good evening, Bhante, and all Kayana Sukyoku. I'm Brother Lee, the discussion day 87 by Bhante Kankoda Vila Tantima. And tonight we are going to discuss about the 6 parts of the Pattakamma Sutta with the topic accomplishment in morality, sīla. This Zoom class is always open. So for those who are interested to join, please contact us on the Ti-Ratana Facebook message or can directly register via QR code that stated on our latest discussion flyer. We also offer the 86 discussion classes on the Ti-Ratana Facebook page and YouTube channel. Our speaker Bhante Dr. Kankoda Vila is the senior advisor to Sutta. It's a Dharma organization that helps beginners as well as the expert students in learning the Dharma in Bali class. So the discussion class Dharma in various ways. You can check on Sutta with the link www.sutta.com. In 2015, Bhante Dharma PhD in Buddhist study from a university in Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2016, I served as a Theravada Buddhist at the University of British Columbia, Canada, and in 2016 was a research at the Center for Religion and Study of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. We are very grateful to Bhante. Thank you very much, Bhante, for wonderful guidance.
Thank you, Brother Lin. I think there is a slow connection on your side. Maybe the voice was kind of breaking up. Anyways, I hope that you will fix as the time goes by. All right. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to another Sutta discussion for TRV Friday discussion series. And today is going to be day 87. We've been actually conducting Sutta discussions for 86 days as of last week. And today's one is going to be the 87th one. We started off this series on, I think, in March 2022 from very basic suttas, and then we developed onto other suttas, like the sutta that we discussed today. Right? So before we get started, let's pay respect to the Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Right. So do we have newcomers today? Are there any newcomers who are joining for the first time to our Sutta discussion? How about Sister Yu only? Are you here for the first time?
I joined last week.
You joined last week, last time.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's the
Good,
second
good.
lesson.
Bhante? Bhante?
Yes. Yes.
This is me. I joined for the first time this
First
class.
time. Yes, I can see you. Good to see you. Yes.
Good.
So we have here Brother Lim, who is replacing Sister Aliana. And we have you, Lee, Brother Kelvin, Selim, Laili, Sadiris, Wu, Selim, Nine Cheng, and Mayap here is for the first time, and Corina, Jacqueline Lim. I understand that still you've been celebrating certain probably activities of your new year. So, but we have to keep up. That's why we've been doing this actually. I hope the major events have already passed, but maybe you may have some personal events, other events that you may have to attend. So, for Sister Mayap, what I can say for you is that you can, if you understand our discussion, this is the earliest Sutta discussion I started for a Malaysian Buddhist center. The earliest one, the first Sutta discussion after I started off many Sutta discussions so far. So we have been discussing so many suttas, and the sutta that we are discussing at the moment with this Ti-Ratana clan Vihara's discussion is Pattakamma Sutta. We have not actually discussed a lot. We have discussed, the main idea of the sutta, the purpose of the sutta is to discuss about how to lead a good lay life, how to become a good lay person. I think that is very necessary for you to understand before you think about some monastic high-end Dharma teaching. So it's pretty interesting and then very relevant to time to all. And we discussed at the beginning of this sutta not long ago that there are 4 wishes that every layperson may have according to the Buddha. Can some of you remember the 4 wishes that the Buddha taught us that a layperson may have? The first layperson's wish is to have something about the money. May wealth come to me righteously. This is the first thing that we discussed at the beginning of this. Second, now when wealth come to you righteously, then there is a subsequent wish that lay people may have. What is it? Then may good reputation come to me and to my teachers and other fellows. Now you have money that came to you righteously, and you have good reputation came to you following the wealth. Then there is an expectation. May I live long. Okay? May I live long. And then when wealth comes to somebody in a righteous way, when good reputation comes to somebody in the proper way, and then when long life affects someone in a good way, then the 4th wish for the Buddha that a layperson may have is, when I pass away, may I be able to be reborn in a good place. Right? Good destination, good place. Now, these are the 4 basic wishes that the Buddha taught us, that a layperson. Now, there are things that you might perhaps, not you, other people might not. Isn't it that the Buddha expects us to end this life, attaining Nibbana? How come the Buddha is to say that you may have a wish to be reborn in a better place? Right? If you listen to Dhamma talks and you read books, you will always see that you must attain Nibbana in this life. What if you cannot? What if you cannot? Practically speaking, what if it is not going to work? Maybe you are trying your best, But what if it's not going to happen? Then definitely you are going to another lives. At that point, then you will understand that these teachings are very valuable. And you have to be reborn in a better place to practice Dhamma. If you become an animal in the next life, what could happen to you? We all like animals, right? We want to pet them. But what if that you will become an animal in the next life? Would you be able to practice Dhamma? That is a problem. That is why the Buddha said, regardless that of you will attain Nibbana or not, you must have been ready in order to be reborn in a better place so that you can practice more Dhamma, even in that life. So I think it's very important, highly important to understand the true Buddhism, not the Buddhism that has been mixed up with the high-end teachings. And then we discuss about some of the spiritual attainments that help someone to have these 4 wishes. The Buddha said, when you have these spiritual abilities, if you have developed these 4 spiritual abilities, then you can easily come through your wishes in terms of wealth, then good reputation, what you call long life and next life. So just because you expect, they don't happen in your life in the same. So the Buddha said you need to develop 4 spiritual abilities. And we discussed the first one. The first one was Saddha. S-A-D-D-H-A, Saddha. Saddha means trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha in one way. On the other hand, confidence. We need a good confidence. If you ask anybody who is involved in any activity, any activity requires some level of confidence. If you lose your confidence, what would happen to you? Let's say you are a public speaker. Suddenly you go to the stage and you are now going through the stage fright. What would happen to you? Would you be able to speak? No. You feel like, I'm not comfortable with what's happening now. So you lose confidence. You may have lost confidence already, even before you go on the stage. What if you are driving? If you don't have confidence to drive on a certain busy, probably a dangerous, challenging place, you are not able to drive. Confidence is required to any task, be that a spiritual thing or a secular thing. So initially we discussed about a spiritual way of understanding Saddha. Let's see that. So here you can see Katamacha Gahapati Saddha Sampada Ida Gahapati Arya Savako Saddu Hoti Saddhahati Tathagata Sabodhi Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Vijacharam Samma Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Pursadamsa Sattha Devamanusana Buddho Bhagava. It's pretty much the 9 great qualities of the Buddha, which make you have this accomplishment of what you call Saddha. Any questions about this? But the first spiritual ability that you need to develop, you need to come through your 4 wishes. And we discussed about Saddha in multiple ways. We said that faith may not be a good translation, because faith is more onto kind of a belief without any inquiry. And we understand that the Buddha always asks us to inquire, investigate, Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dhamma as well, right? Investigation about the Buddha, just to, create more, space, more, I would say, free will and all that. Okay, then let's go to the second one, which is our today's discussion. Katamacha Gahapati Sīla Sampada. You can see here 3 dots and pay. What does it mean? Any thoughts? This means a repetition. That means you have to add all the 5 precepts over here. Okay. Anybody would like to read the text? So when you read after Panatipata Patividato Hoti, you need to add Adinadana, Kamisumichachara, Musavana, the Surame. Anybody? Just to be familiar with the text.
Bhante, read.
Yes.
Pattakamma cha gahapati sīla sampada ida gahapati arya savako panatipata pati virato hoti
You can add Adinadana.
adinadana pati virato hoti kamesu vichachara pati virato
Patividato Hoti.
hoti musawada pati virato hoti sura meraya maja pamadatana pati virato hoti sura okay ayang wuchati kahapati sīla sampada.
Okay, great. Yeah. Katamacha Gahapati Sīla Sampada. Idha Gahapati. Arya Savaku Panatipata Pativirato Hoti. Adinadana Pativirato Hoti. Kamisumichachara Pativirato Hoti. Musavada Pativirato Hoti. Sura Meraya Majja Pamadattana Pativirato Hoti. Ayang Buchati Gahapati Sīla Sampada. So the text has not given the full, I would say, 3 precepts. I would say for the reason that they are very popular, that everybody knows, and they are implied over here. So when we understand this section about Sīla Sampada, we have to understand what does Sīla mean here. Sīla means nothing else but a proper abstinence or refraining from the 5, the wrong side of the 5 precepts. Sīla. Now, let's talk about Sīla first. Sīla Sampada means accomplishment. Now, in our life, as you understand, we are trying to accomplish a lot of things, right? What are the things we are trying to accomplish in our life on a daily basis, on an yearly basis? There are a lot of secular things that people are trying to accomplish. If it comes to a teenager, those accomplishments might vary. If it is for another person, young adult or adult, maybe senior, elderly person, they have their own accomplishments, right? But out of all these accomplishments, there are 4 accomplishments that are very important. Sīla Sampada, Saddha Sampada, Sīla Sampada, Chāga Sampada, Paññā Sampada. Today we are discussing the second one. We discuss about the Saddha Sampada, accomplishment in confidence. Now here, accomplishment in Sīla. Let's talk about Sīla in general. Now here Buddha says, for a lay person, what is more important in terms of Sīla is the 5 precepts. Right? Now when we hear certain ideas of certain people, they are saying that they want to practice higher Sīlas, Adi Sīlas. But what the Buddha expected you to practice is 5 precepts. Right? Only 5 precepts. Don't talk about the rest of the thing, 8 precept, 10 precept, all that, but primarily 5 precepts. You may go for rest of the things if you want, but you have to keep the 5 precepts. Let's start our discussion with Sīla. S-long-I-L-A. What does Sīla mean? Now, Sīla is one of the, I would say, mostly misunderstood, largely misunderstood words. I would say concept It has been translated by many differently. It has been, I would say, discussed by many differently. So it is something what we understand by, I would say, largely misunderstood, probably an abusive word to some concepts, some people, because like you understand anicca, the way how people translate anicca is impermanence. So we can put, if you look at the elements of anicca, you could see that it is not just the impermanence. It is change in general. If you only take it to impermanence, you might probably lose the general idea of change. So, sīla has many translations. What are the translations that we know about sīla? Let's start with sīla. Morality, isn't it? Morality is one translation. Another translation?
Virtue.
Virtue. Virtue. Other translations about sīla?
Ethics.
Ethics. Ethics.
Uprighteous.
Huh?
Uprighteous.
What is it?
Uprighteous. Uprighteous.
Uprighteous. Right? What else? Good conduct.
Good conduct.
Good conduct. And then others?
Wholesome deeds.
Wholesome deeds.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, if you look at it that way, yes. Other translation of sīla?
Honorable.
Okay, now you are going to give some contextual translations. We'll stop at this space then. All right. So, sīla is basically translated as morality or good conduct. But what does sīla mean actually? Understand the translation. We have to know what does sīla mean. Sīla means calming our body and speech. What does sīla do to us is, when you practice sīla, it helps you calm down your body and your speech. Why do I say so? When you practice sīla, you are trying to calm your body. How do we calm your body? Now, calm means in the sense of discipline. Another translation is discipline. Huh? Discipline. How do you calm your body? Is it just to go for a relaxation massage, whereby you're going to calm your body? No. Calming your body in the sense of discipline. That means not killing, not stealing, and not misbehaving, especially in sexual misconduct. Right? And the other part of the sīla is to discipline your or calm your speech. What can we do to calm our speech? Discipline our speech. What are the main things that we are supposed to do? We are not supposed to
Lie.
lie. No musava, right? Then we are not supposed to. Now, what is speech? What are the wrong things that we do with our speech?
Harsh speech. Harsh.
Yeah, that is one of the things. Harsh speech. Harsh speech. Then, parsavacha.
Divisive talk.
Huh?
Divisive.
Okay. Divisive speech. Not thinking what is happening, then we're going to talk what comes to our mind. We just talk. We don't know what are the words, and we don't know what are the things that are going to affect with our words. We call it Pisuna vacha. Then
Idle talk.
sampappalapa, gossiping, right? Are many people doing this on a daily basis? That little smile is not a good sign of.
Standard. SPO, standard.
Huh?
It's a standard practice.
It's a standard practice. It could be an organized crime. Right? In today's world, people not just do crime, they are doing organized crimes, planning how to do. I mean, of course, I understand you are good people. You're trying to develop yourself, improve yourself, right? The importance of these four in terms of the good speech is very valuable for our practice. So if you can stop any line, you can stop any what you call device speech. Actually, Pisuna Vacha is very interesting. Like before you talk, think about what will be the impact with my speech on other people, on me and on other people. Always think about it. Then you are going to use your words, whatever conversation topics, in a careful manner. Have you seen people who are just talking whatever comes to their mind? They might think it's a freedom. Yes, I mean, we need freedom. But just because we need freedom, we should not disturb others. We should not insult others. Now, this is a big issue, big topic in the West. In the West, they are talking about freedom. I want freedom. I want freedom of speech. I want freedom of expression. And then some people are, not everybody, some people are going to do whatever they want. But then there are other people who are getting affected. Maybe they don't want to be expressed that way. Right? So, call it Pisuna Vacha. We have to be very careful before we talk. Actually, if you are someone who is very careful when you talk to other people, what will be the immediate feedback from other people? If you are someone who is very careful before you talk, what would be the feedback from other people if there are good people who understand the situation? They will like you a lot. Yeah, I know that you are not somebody who is just, talking whatever that comes to your mind. I know that you are very careful and you are a very respectful person. People are going to trust you. People are going to believe you, right? Another very interesting thing is that, let's say somebody bad mouths about you one day, but other people know that you are very careful in speaking. Will many other people believe what the other person says to them? No, because they trust you a lot. No, that person never talks like that. Because you have already built your trust among others. Right? So there are a lot of things that are happening. If you maintain a personality where you don't simply talk, you understand what to talk. Especially, everything that you are talking is to unite people, to bring people together. Right? Your speech has to be always bringing what you call agreement, unison, right? You're trying your best. Sometimes you can't, you may not be able, but you're trying your level best to bring people together. And that is what you call Pisuna Vacha. Then Parusa Vacha, this is also very important, equally similarly to what you call Pisuna Vacha. That means you are always trying to think about what could be a best way to talk to someone, what could be a best way to address a certain place. Because we have to understand vocabulary, we have to understand how not to hurt other people. What do you think about why some people, they are very, what you call, careless in using their words that must have hurt other people a lot? What could be the reason behind these people's, what you call, careless behavior of using certain words that have hurt other people? One very important is no reflection. They don't reflect on what is happening, especially they don't know how to pick the right words. Have you seen people who are saying, I don't know how to express myself, so I just use my own words? So don't worry, don't get it personally. Right? There are people who are saying that I'm not very expressive, so don't take my words, but they are still using. So that means we have to understand, if you cannot express yourself properly, you need to understand how to express even at the bare minimum level. Because sometimes if you hurt somebody, this hurt can be going for many decades. Right? Be very careful. That's why at the time of the Buddha, there was one particular Pali word that the Buddha used to talk about a good speaker. We call it mitabani. Let me type that for you here. Mitabani. Yeah? Mitabani means the one. That's very interesting Pali word. Mitabani means the one who speaks in moderation. Mitabani. Bani means speaker. Mita means moderation. That means if you are somebody who is very noisy, right? Have you seen noisy people who are always trying to talkative? Then what happens? Finally, you will lie, you will break people's relationships, connections, and you will then probably hurt other people. Then you will become gossipers automatically. So this is what you understand by, basically the speech, good speech and the wrong speech. Now, sīla means disciplining yourself from the speech and from the body. Can sīla help you to discipline your mind? Not directly, but as a consequence of the sīla. That's why whenever you go for a meditation retreat, whenever you go for a certain mindfulness activity, the teacher is always trying to give you the precepts because they are helpful. Now, this is a basic definition about what sīla is. Then, what else can we understand? What is sīla actually, basically? In a larger, broad perspective, sīla means, sīla is not a rule. A lot of people misunderstand. Sīla is a rule. Can sīla be a rule? Why sīla cannot be a rule? Now you go see many working places, companies, institutions, they have working ethics. That means they cannot do certain things. They have to abide by their working ethics. That means other people can catch, other people can notice, right? Even let's say someone who has been given a computer, laptop to work, but this person time to time trying to watch YouTube during the working hours. They are trying to catch these people who are not working, who are trying to do things that are not under their working ethics. But if sīla is a kind of rule, then we should be able to understand that someone doesn't have sīla. Can we judge, can we know that somebody has sīla or not just from outside? What is sīla in Buddhism? What do you think? Sīla in Buddhism means a self-discipline. You are the one who knows whether you have done pāṇātipāta, whether you have done adinādāna, whether you have done kāmesumiccāchāra, whether you have done musāvāda, whether you have done surāmīre maccapamādakkhāna. Of course, you may see somebody is killing, somebody is stealing, somebody is misbehaving, somebody is lying, somebody is, taking whatever drinks and food. so that they are losing their judgment from outside. But the real break of the sīla happens from a mental part. It is a mental thing, right? It's not just a physical thing. How does it happen? Can anybody think about an example? Why sīla is not a physical thing in the first place? Why sīla is a mental thing? Now, there's a wrong understanding to think that sīla is for the discipline, then samadhi is for the mental part, panya is a higher level of the mental part. But I'm telling you, sīla is basically, even though you might see it from physical activities, speech and body, but the sīla is broken at the level of mental activity. What is a good example? I always bring up an example to this. That is, a 3 months old baby. If you look at a 3 months old baby, does this 3 months old baby kill other beings? Then Panatipata, Vedamani, Sikkhapada, Samadhi. Even that baby doesn't take the precept. Panatipata, Vedamani is surely there. Then does a 3 months old baby steal other people's stuff? No idea at all. Does a 3 months old baby misbehave in sexual misconduct? No idea what does it mean. The 3 months old baby lie. Does a 3 months old baby take food and beverages so that his or her mind get clouded, so that he or she cannot make a sound judgment? No. That means the 3 months old baby has a lot of, or maybe a better sīla than you. Isn't it? Isn't it? If the baby doesn't kill, steal, misbehave, not lie, not doing suramere, majapamadatthana, then the baby should have sīla. Do you accept that? What do you think? It's a little difficult to understand, right? It's not difficult to understand if you know what is sīla. The baby does not do well. That is a what you call observation that we can see from outside. But the sīla that the Buddha talks is not just a mere avoidance of certain bad activities, especially the 5 precepts here. Sīla is the intentional avoidance of the 5 precepts. I mean, the wrong side of the 5 precepts. How do we say that? Now, you, as a good lay person, think that I'm not going to kill, because if I kill, it's not good for me, it's not good for others. You, as a good person, going to think that I'm not going to steal, it's not good for me, it's not good for others. You, as a good lay person, think that I'm not going to misbehave in my sexuality, and I'm going to behave by understanding the repercussions, outcome, or consequences of sexual misbehavior for you and for other people. You are, you as a good lay person, not going to lie by understanding what you call the consequences of lying, and then the consequences that would happen to others when they get misled by you after lying. You as a good lay person, not going to take food and beverages to an extent where you can't do a sound judgment, and you understand the repercussions of breaking that precept, and then the repercussions that would pose on to other people's lives. This is sīla. Now you might think that, that means in order to practice sīla, should I need to become an adult? Not just become an adult. You need to know at a certain point of your life, let's say a teenager, you are not supposed to do this because these are the repercussions, outcomes, results. That is where you're going to practice sīla. I think that's a very interesting point. Because from today onwards, do not think that it is not only a physical avoidance. Physical avoidance is necessary in a way, but the true sīla arises when you know that why you are not supposed to do that and why you are not doing it. So this basic understanding is very necessary, right? That is sīla. On the other hand, let's go to the text over here. Sīla. Okay. Pativiratu. Pativiratu. What does pativiratu means? Pativiratu. Pati. Pati is a prefix in Pali. Pati means that you are going to keep abstaining from the particular pativiratu. That means it is not enough just to avoid panatipata only one day, right? Are there people who only practice sīla for a couple hours or only one day? Who are those people? There can be people who practice sīla only for a one day, maybe 2 days. Then they are just going back to their whatever the life. That is not pativiratu. Pativiratu means you have to keep abstaining. Keep abstaining. Keep refrain from that particular wrong side of the action. Maybe panatipata, maybe adinadana, maybe kamasumichachara, maybe musavada, maybe pisunavacha, maybe parusavacha, sapapa. So you are expected to continue abstaining from the wrong side of the sea. All right, makes sense? So what are the very important 2 things that you learned so far about sīla? What are the very important 2 things you learned so far about sīla?
Intentional.
Intentional avoidance is sīla. That is one thing. Second thing is about pativiratu. Pativiratu means?
Continuously.
Continue abstaining, continue refraining from it. Not just abstain on 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. Right? You have to. Actually, the misunderstanding arises when you only think about 8 precepts, because you might not be able to practice 8 precepts every day. You only supposed to practice 5 precepts. You cannot take care of 5 precepts. Why do you go and take 8 precepts? If you can't take care of 5, why are you going to try to take care of 8? The Buddha initially expect you to practice 5 precepts. Because if you practice 5 precepts well, this includes a lot of things in your life. This disciplines a lot of things in your life. Now, when I hear that after retreat, there is a day that, let's say there is a 2-day retreat. At the end of the 2nd day, you are going to, the speaker or the teacher is going to give them 5 precepts. Some devotees say, I want to keep my 8 precepts. Oh, it's good. I mean, they might think that the 5 precepts are like basic, like marginalized, basic precepts. I know basic precepts. They are more than 5. Because the problem is they don't know what they are in their true ways, actually. What might mostly affect to many people is abrahmacharya, celibacy, and then not eating after midday and not having certain decorations to the body, especially anuchasa. So I think more than these particular new precepts that are really helping you to, I would say, spend the day without some distractions, 5 precepts are more important because that is the sīla that is given to the lay people by the Buddha. Okay, so these are 2 important things. Okay, one thing is sīla is intentional avoidance of 5, I would say wrong set of 5 precepts, and then pativiratu means continuance, what you call continuous abstinence, refraining of the wrong side of 5 precepts. Now we are going to talk about another issue of the sīla. Can you think about what could be a problem with the sīla? The way how people practice sīla? Any thoughts? Anybody can think about it? Sīla paramas. Let me write that for you here. Sīla paramas. Sīla paramas means linking to sīla paramas. That means sometimes when some people practice sīla, they might end up with clinging upadana to sīla and certain cults. Right? Clinging. Sīla paramas. Now the Buddha says this is an issue to somebody's Dhamma journey. How can you know somebody like this who has sīla paramas? What is an indication that you can notice about this? Have you seen people who are only practicing sīla? They don't understand the next level of the sīla, samadhi. And they don't understand what is after samadhi, that panya. Sīla, samadhi, panya is what we call 3 gradual states. I mean, while you're having sīla, you have to go to samadhi, concentration, and you have to go to wisdom. This is a very interesting point. That means sīla paramas are one of the fetters. We call them sīla paramas to be one of the fetters. Fetters mean one of the disturbances to someone who wants to attain sotapan. Right? That means sīla can become a problem for you not to become a sotapan. Interesting, right? Now, sīla is very important for us to start the practice. But sīla, on the other hand, can become a problem, can become a disturbance for you to attain a sotapan. How can sīla disturb you, hinder you in attaining sotapan? Becoming sotapan. Any thoughts? If you believe that sīla has to be practiced with a very rigorous, what we call, in a way that I only want to look at my physical avoidance only. I don't look at my mental avoidance, intentional avoidance part. And you only focus on sīla from a very physical background, then you will get stuck in the practice of sīla. Then you are not practicing sīla, you are practicing sīla paramas. This is also one of the reasons why people are going on to cults. Are there cults in Buddhism? C-U-L-T-S?
Yes.
Why have some people ended up, why have some teachers, some disciples ended up with some cults? Vata, sīla, vata we call. Sīla is one problem, vata is one problem. When you don't know why you are practicing them. We don't have actually vatas. What are the cults that you have observed in those Buddhist cultures? There are different cults. Some people, they have been practicing. When you ask them, why do you do that? They directly quote the Buddha. Buddha said this, so we are practicing. Right? And they might say, our ancestors have been practicing, so we're going to carry on this practice. Right? There are a lot of cults. A good Buddhist does not insult cults, but the good Buddhists understand this is not Buddhism, this is Buddhism. This is a cult, this is a Buddhist activity. A good Buddhist should be able to separate out, filter out those things. But the point here is that be careful, because your sīla sometimes can end up with a clinging. You might cling to your sīla, right? That is something very important to understand. Now, on the other hand, especially in the Pali commentaries and I would say some of the secondary, third, what you call tertiary books that have been written about sīla, talk about certain mathematical forms of practicing sīla, mostly a physical avoidance of certain things. But as you understand, killing initially happens with an intention, right? Now, if you can look at certain stories about, Buddhism, you would see that the Buddha told precisely to many people that killing happens from a mental background. Actually, it can lead to physical things. So mental part is more important. So when you deal with sīla, the most important thing is the mental part, because without understanding the mental elements of that particular bad behavior, maybe akusala behavior, you are not able to think whether this happened or not in the proper way. All right, so three things that I have been discussing so far. One thing is how to understand sīla, especially about the intentional avoidance and pativirato, continue abstaining. They are two very important things. And we just now discussed about an extreme, I would say, sīla can go to an upadana level. That's very dangerous. Some people, they cannot understand their own sīla, so they mostly end up with upadana level of their sīla. It's pretty bad, right? Sometimes they quarrel each other about their own sīla because they are thinking that it happened this way, that way. But if you understand the basic level of how sīla works, you will know that it is primarily psychological process, mental process. That is why you see that there are people who might not know they are unintentionally depriving of certain tiny creatures. But when this was alerted to the Buddha normally says this person was not conscious about this particular thing. So he or she is not making akusala. One very good example is Arahant Chakkupala, right? Can you remember the story? Arahant Chakkupala was a monk
who
was
is blind, doctor.
who was blind. And then when he was walking back and forth in the compound, other monks saw that he was stepping on certain tiny creatures. And then the Buddha was informed by the monks, and he said to other monks, Arahant Chakkupala is an Arahant. He doesn't know that there are tiny creatures in that particular place. But still, those tiny creatures were being killed by his walking. So this basically gives an idea that sīla is primarily from an intentional behavior, an intentional avoidance of certain activities. Right? All right. Any questions about these aspects so far before we jump on to the next level of the sīla?
Bhante, in Malaysia, there are bogus monks. So,
Bogus monks.
yes,
I do big claim, huh? Bogus. Okay.
yes. So, is that considered what you call clinging to sīla? Can it be considered a cult?
Can you tell me what do you mean by bogus? I understand fake.
Okay. These monks will go out for begging, but they
Okay.
beg for money,
Mhm.
and they also sell those what you call those bracelets and whatever lah. Those blessings, strings, threads. So they sell and they ask for money. And they go out begging throughout the day lah, including the night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. So now the question is,
So the question is that considered a form of cult or a form of wrong practice?
yeah, on their side, it is definitely a wrong way of practicing, definitely. Now, my question is, there are many people who are misled by these monks,
Yes,
because
yes.
people initially like anybody who can have a better sīla from outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, in order for us to understand somebody's sīla, we cannot know from outside. Now, you might have seen how they sell the bracelets, how they sell different, what do you call those things?
They
Talisman and all these things.
talismans,
Yes. So
fortune telling.
then you understand, okay, they are not maybe bogus monks, right? They are maybe not properly ordained or whatever. But my suggestion you to think about, many people, they don't know this. They initially like the idea. They are coming to us, they are blessing us. This is blessing, form of blessing. Why is it? Because people in general are being disillusioned by the external behavior that they can see through the sīla perspective. They don't know what is sīla. They think that
Right.
sīla is an external behavior. But today you learn sīla is not just an external behavior. Sīla, in order to understand sīla, you have to have this, what you call, intentional avoidance. That we definitely understand their purpose is not really to, help whatever they are expecting, whatever they are showing to others. I think this is not an issue in Malaysia. It's everywhere. If you go to probably a larger city outside Malaysia as well, even in New York.
Do you have bogus monks in Sri Lanka?
I would say, I would civilize this particular Pali, the English word. I would say there are monks, there are so-called, they are not monks actually, they just shave their hairs and then they put a robe on and they just go and they go for Pindapata,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so this is an issue. I mean, I'm not trying to discuss about this particular issue. I'm trying to see here that people can be easily disillusioned, can be easily misled by this kind of behavior.
Yes.
They are doing their own wrong living, but I mean, from the people's side, they're getting misled because they think sīla is something that they can see, not something that they can understand from that person's particular intention and behavior. That is one very important thing to learn here today.
So shouldn't the public be educated on this?
I think public, a lot of people in society knows, but definitely there should be an awareness that the proper, well-organized places should do.
Because
So
those people who offer money, they actually do not understand what Buddhism is, what monks are supposed to do or not supposed to do. They do not understand. Like what Bhante had said, they see a monk in robes, they give the money, they want the blessing. That's it.
yes,
Yeah.
because people's problems are more heavier than this behavior of the monks. If you look at lay people's life, their problems are heavier than understanding these monks outside.
Correct.
They don't think about else. Oh, I got a monk, I gotta give something, I gotta do something, I'm so distressed. I'm so stressed out in my life. I have problems in my household, right? So that's why. So we can do something like educating people in a way that I would say, especially the sīla part, right? Discipline part. This is how a good monk is supposed to behave. Other than that, I don't think even the Sangha members can go one by one and to say, don't do this, right?
Okay. Well, I understand,
Yeah.
Bhante, in Thailand, you can actually call the police to catch them because Thailand is a Buddhist country, but Malaysia cannot lah. Malaysia is Islamic country.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
understand many of them came down from Thailand because with Malaysia they cannot be caught, but Thailand they can be caught. Yeah.
all right. Any other questions about sīla, according to things that we've been discussing so far? Or you can talk about any practical issues with your sīla practice, your daily sīla practice.
Bhante,
That's a good way to.
this
Yes.
sīla, for example, I like to grow vegetables, but
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of insects come and eat my vegetables.
Yes.
So if I will buy some insecticide and kill the kill the insects and things like that, am I breaking my sīla?
Oh, very good question, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So you have to save the both. You have to save the animals. You have to save the crops.
Yeah.
You have to be an effective, progressive person. Yes. That's why the Buddha asks us to think about how to do something by minimizing these things. Okay. Let's say if you know certain ways to minimize any unnecessary killing, that is very important. Like, for example, one very good example is that a lot of people are asking, my house has a lot of mosquitoes. They are trying to, attack me. What should I do? Should I kill them or should I let them,
Bite me.
attack me and sting my, what should I do? Now, my question is not to answer, not to choose one or the other. I'm asking, how did the mosquitoes come into your house? Did somebody open your door? Somebody open your windows, right? Did you open your windows? Did you open your door? Is it not possible for you to have a household with some additional supervision of what's happening in your household? Probably you're gonna close the doors in time, close the windows in time. So you're gonna minimize. Actually, if you could do that 1 day, 2 day, you would see that what you call less mosquitoes are coming in, right? Maybe no mosquitoes are coming in on a certain day because you are so careful about it. I think even in your that particular question, what I say is that you can minimize certain insects with certain methodologies that you can practice. I don't know what you can do. What people always come up with that, oh, I'm going to buy some fertilizer and actually probably sprinkle them, right? Maybe you could find out certain good ways to stop them coming, stop their growth, maybe some healthy ways, right?
Grow lemongrass. Lemongrass.
That is one good example. Growing lemongrass, right? Now for mosquitoes, there are some certain plants that are mosquito repellent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they might not like that particular area because that smell. So we could take certain healthy actions so that we can coexist, harmoniously. There are ways to think about. Now, if I was going to answer this question without giving you that background, either I have to say, either you have to live, either they have to die. I mean, these are actually extreme ends of the question. So rather what I'm saying is there are a lot of healthy ways to understand what to do. Like Philip said, sometimes you might need to grow certain other plants. Maybe you might have to do certain things in time, temperature things, right? Could do a lot of things. Any other questions about your Pancha Sīla 5 precepts? But today we are talking about Sīla Sampada. right? Somebody's saying organic planting, can try spray enzyme solution, lemongrass solution. Yeah, see, soapy solution. Yes. This is good for a brother who can see organic planting, can try spray enzyme solution, lemongrass solution, soapy solution. There are lots of ways to think about. Yeah. Any other questions about your sīla practice?
The practice of sīla, Bhante, we want to observe the sīla, but at the same time we avoid. But in doing so, there's a lot of anger in us. So our sīla is compromised. In this way, it's
Our
compromised.
sīla is compromise.
Yeah, because we have anger in it. Although we didn't kill it, we are very angry.
What is the connection between anger and our sīla practice?
Whether we have compromised the sīla or not.
Interesting, very interesting. That's why I was trying to tell that this particular practice has to be put
Very
into
balanced.
practice without torturing us. Because once you torture yourself, that means you have gone to another bad level of sīla. What do you call it? That Pattakamma, which we discussed before. Right? You are going to torture yourself, which the Prince Siddhartha also did that. Not eating. There are people who go to that level, right?
Yeah.
Right? There are such people who are getting really messed up with their own sīla. Right? Now, when I conducted one retreat long time ago, there was one devotee who was very mad at certain things. Said, what's wrong? These people after midday, they are having some milk tea. I said, what's the problem with milk tea? There may be some elderly people who might need to depend on certain medications, Sometimes, as Brother Wu mentioned, this anger arises because of a kind of a perfectionist mentality about their sīla.
Yeah.
Am I perfectly doing the sīla? Nobody is doing
Yeah,
perfectly anything. Nobody can do anything perfectly in this life unless you become the Samma Sambuddha. So sīla, as I said, it's an intentional avoidance. At the same time, you have to practice some other additional virtues in order for you to practice sīla. What are the other things? Accepting yourself. Let's say today, you probably must not have killed, must not have stolen other people's stuff, not misbehaved sexuality. Maybe you may have had to say something that was not true to somebody. Why? Just to protect their lives, just to protect the situation, right? Then you have to accept what really happened. Yes, I had to say that because I wanted to protect the safety. I wanted to protect the harmony between two people, among others. But I accept why it led me to say as such. But next time, I'm not going to say, I'm trying to see a different solution if I could. In that way, not creating anger towards you, not creating any remorse towards you, rather understand the situation. I think if you really want to practice sīla, you have to be an acceptable person. You have to be a person who understands around you and beyond. Otherwise, your sīla practice will make you a very extreme, kind of a very perfectionist person, which might stop you in becoming a balanced person. That is a problem to many people. So always have to accept, understand what's going on, and then to think about your sīla. One very good thing is that there was one monk, it's a true incident in the Buddhist stories. This monk has been practicing sīla very well, in a perfect way in his own way. But he or she could not attain any spiritual stage. Just before he passed away, a tiny small thing came to his or her mind. As Upasampada Hayodin monks, there's a minor rule that they are not supposed to pluck certain, I would say, leaves, kind of stuff of a tree. So he thought about a certain small incident where he plucked a small leaf. At the same time, he passed away. He was unhappy about what happened, that particular one small incident, and he became a snake in that same monastery. Because he was not happy. He had anger towards himself. My sīla was broken. Right? That means when you practice sīla, never ever torture yourself. Never ever create hatred towards yourself. Because once you create a hatred towards yourself, you have lots of those. So be careful. Try to practice as much as you can. In case you fail in your certain precepts, try to understand that this is normal. This can happen to everybody, but I'm trying to minimize. I'm trying to improve myself. But don't take it as a remorse. Because once you took it as a remorse, it will become a part of anger, part of dosa, hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions about sīla? Yeah. Till you come up with a question, let me finalize the section again one more time. Katamacha gahapati sīla sampada ida gahapati arya sāvaku pānātipāta patividato. I already told. Patividato means continue refrain, not just one day. And the last precept, Suramere Majjapama Dattana Veramani, needs a certain explanation. As you understand, Suramere, this means you can see one way to look at Suramere is that this is not just the alcoholic concentration only. This is about any misuse of your moderation of eating practices. If you eat too much with your rice, if you eat too much of anything, you are going to create certain intoxication so that your judgment, your thoughts are not going to really work. Because if we say that abstaining from alcohol is Suramere, that might not well represent Suramere. Why is it? Because we consume alcohol. In what ways? In the shortest minimum possible way is that if you have a cough, the doctor will give you Ivasa, an alcoholic-based syrup, like a codeine-based syrup. That is one thing. So we have to take it. Because if you don't take it, our cough will not discontinue. So when you say alcohol, definitely there should be a limit. But on this side, abstinence of alcohol is not Suramere. What we understand is that if you are going to consume any food or any beverage to a level where you can't make a sound judgment, then that counts as a Suramere, break of the Suramere.
Oh, so with this understanding, Bhante, there's a Chinese dish where they use white wine to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the problem is whether people get intoxicated or not.
No, it will not because you cook it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's not alcohol. It's the intoxication.
Yeah.
Some people might be intoxicated only with one big plate of rice. You should not go to that one big plate of rice then. You have to eat less. Some people might be intoxicated with 3 or 4 plates of rice. So it's the intoxication that vary from one person to the other person, right? So this is one very interesting. That means eat in moderation is very important in today's world. That's what the Buddha said in many places.
Bhante, how about smoking?
Well, smoking is an addiction. Addictions are akusalas, mostly akusalas.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
Because-
addiction is up, sir.
Because smoking is very bad in the sense that you harm yourself, you also harm others. Secondhand.
Yes.
So you harm yourself and harm others. That's the worst thing one can do.
Everybody who addicts to any bad activity, any activity will harm oneself and
And
other
harm-
people.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you take an example of a somebody who addicted to gaming, who always plays game
Yes.
all the time. This
Correct.
person is addicted. This person harms himself or herself health-wise.
Yeah.
Second thing, he harms his relationship with somebody or her
Yes.
relationship with somebody. And also, his everything will be harmed. Work life, everything. Money, wealth management. If you take smoking, it has definitely health problems. At the same time, it really disturbs other people. They are giving other people the same addiction.
The secondhand smoke is even worse.
Pardon me?
Secondhand smoke is even
Second
worse.
hand. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's even worse.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes
Any
the
addiction.
smoker, the smoker will not get cancer, but the person who is inhaling the secondhand smoke will get it.
Yes. Yes. And many people who are addicted to certain bad practices, they never know the impact that they are posing on other people.
So we could include addiction under the 5th precepts.
It could definitely it could.
Yeah.
Yes.
All forms of addiction.
Yes, all forms of addictions and compulsive behaviors. I would say,
Yes.
psychologically speaking, compulsive behaviors. Eating rice excessively, eating alcohol, having alcoholic drinks excessively, things like smoking. I think all the smokers cannot have a limit. That's why when a doctor or somebody is to give an advice to a smoker, try to reduce probably cigarettes to this amount of cigarettes to 1 day over the weeks, right? It's
It
going to
doesn't work.
Yeah, most people cannot. They cannot, rehabilitate themselves. Unfortunately, addiction is that bad, and they are so much fixated, hardwired in that smoking. Sura Meriya Majjapama Dattana. Now here, Majjapamad, as you can see here. Okay. Sura Meriya Majjapamad. Majja means intoxication. Pamada means, what is pamada? Pamada means, what does pamada mean? Negligence.
Religious heedlessness.
Heedlessness. Now, the two biggest issues out of Sura Meriya is that when you have Sura Meriya, you will be intoxicated, and at the same time, you'll be negligent in your Dhamma practice. Right? So those are the two big issues out of the Sura Meriya. That means if you are somebody who really wants to be out of any intoxication, at the same time who really want to staying onto your Dhamma path, you will never go to these extreme limits or become a part of any what you call compulsive, or I would say any addictive behaviors.
So
Now
those
think about it. Now in today's world, psychology, psychotherapy, they are always talking about addiction. Where does addiction come from? This mismanagement of eating, drinking, consuming things. Sura Meriya. Yes, Brother Lim?
Yeah, including the addiction to Korean drama.
Yes. Interesting. Anything, any addiction. The only thing that we see, that addiction is not from the food, but addiction. Any addiction that will cost us intoxication. Can we addict to Dhamma?
Hmm. But it's
Is
a
it
good
good or
addiction,
bad?
Bhante.
Huh?
It's a good addiction, addict to Dhamma.
Any addiction is not good.
Not good.
According to Buddha, Dhamma has to be properly used, not
Yeah.
becoming an addict and
Yeah.
addicted to that Dhamma. Because once you become addicted to Dhamma, you are practicing sīla paramas.
Okay.
Respect the Dhamma, respect those who are teaching the Dhamma, respect those who are practicing along with you. But at the same time, never ever become an addicted to the Dhamma, because once you addicted, you will never see what to do. Then that is the point where you maintain the bookshelves. This I have all the Tripitaka. I don't read. I have all the books, all the Tripitaka, all the Dhamma Vinaya, all the good things. And you are maintaining Buddha as a knowledge. You will never bring that to practice. Yes, you may have a bookshelf, but it's good to have a bookshelf you can read, but do not keep your Dhamma practice only to a bookshelf, only to a library, only to a temple. It's your practice. It's your 24/7, 365, all day long, all night long practice. So any addiction is no good, because addiction has to be stopped. A wise, I would say, wise use, even the alcoholic things, a wise use in the secular context. Somebody who has to go to a socialization, fine, he or she has to sometimes be with those people, but they know the limit. A wise use of everything is important. But there are certain things that you should not become a part of. Don't become an alcoholic person. Don't become a person who is onto smoking, right? They are unnecessary things. They are not necessary in our life. You are wasting your life. All right, we will take probably one more question. Not two questions. Others? Anybody else? So next week we are studying about the Chaka Sampada, about Dana, proper Dana, and the other week we're going to be discussing about Panya Sampada. There are a lot to talk about, but today, as you can see, Pattivirato is very interesting. I wanted to emphasize, Pattivirato means you're going to continue practicing any thing. Now, especially the precepts, not just 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Your practice has to continue. Any other questions, Dhamma folks?
Bhante, what's the meaning of Atapi?
Atapi. Atapi is a Pali word that is used to discuss about mindfulness. Actually, sati. If you can remember this, kaya anupassye viharati, atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijja domanas. Vedana suvedana anupassye viharati, atapi sampajano satima vinaya. So and so forth. So Atapi means if you really want to practice mindfulness, sati, you need a certain what you call effort, right effort to practice. Now there are a lot of translations, ardent and all that, but Atapi contextually means right effort. Without right effort, you can't practice right mindfulness. You never know where to practice, when to practice.
Thank you, Bhante.
All right, any questions from our newcomers? Maybe those who joined lately. Any questions? So you can ask any question. Maybe you can probably send a question as a probably a chat under the chat. Take one more minute, otherwise we're going to transfer the good cards. All right, looks like no questions. So we're going to be wrap this up by transferring good karmas to the departed ones. So once again, if I recap what we've been discussing today, we've been discussing about the second spiritual ability that you have to practice in order to come true, fulfill your 4 wishes. It is sīla sampada. That means nothing else. It's pretty normal, pretty basic. That means as a layperson, please keep practicing your 5 precepts. Without falling prey, without falling, as a victim onto the sīla Pattakamma. Sīla Pattakamma is not good. Practice sīla by understanding why you are practicing sīla. And then intentional avoidance is the main important thing with your sīla practice. All right. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today by discussing the second sampada, spiritual ability of the Pattakamma Sutta, be transferred to all the departed ones. May departed ones be well and happy. May they finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu. Sadhu. Idam me jnati idam huntu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnati idam huntu sukhita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnati idam huntu sukhita huntu jnatayo. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika be well and happy. May they share all these good karmas. May they bless and protect all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe sattha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha Deva Naga Mahitika Punyantan Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Dasasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha Deva Naga Mahitika Punyantan Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Dasasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha Deva Naga Mahitika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tumang paranti chirang rakhang tupang sadati. Also, we are making a great wish at the end of every good activity, good karma. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. May we not be in the company of Papa Mitras. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami pala samagam satang samagam yavanibbana pantiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been making today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana sīlisse niccang vaddha prachāyi chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvano sukham balam ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samijjati sa. With that blessing, our Sutta discussion for today is over. Wishing you a good night. We'll see you next Friday.
Okay, good night, Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.
Bhante.
Good night,
night,
Kalyana Mitra.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Ready?
Bye.
Thank you, Bhante.
You.
Bhante, thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante,